experiencing an actual shift. This is the final, you could call it step. It's more of something that should happen organically if the previous steps have been followed in this what is inner work and how to do it. And it's also a way to check yourself. We'll talk about testing what you've gone through to see, okay, has this actually created some noticeable real shift for me? A lot of techniques, when you do them, you can do a breath work type of exercise. You can close your eyes and meditate for a few minutes if you're practiced with that, even just doing some tapping on the points. There's likely going to be some physiological change, right? I mean, it's better than just running around and spinning your wheels or stressing yourself. So there's some benefit innately to doing that. But what I'm talking about checking, as far as checking to see if the previous steps are creating an actual shift, is when you think of the trigger, when you connect to, let's say, the topic of money or that specific event around money, that bad stock decision you made that really hurt you when you think about it. And, oh man, I can't believe I did that. When you remember that event after having done some processing, do you feel an actual shift in the way you experience it? Doesn't mean you love it. You're not going to say, oh, isn't it great that I lost that money necessarily? You actually could, though. You can get to that level where it's so profound that you're like, oh my God, I can see the lessons I needed to learn and how the lessons I learned from that. But it's not about faking that through like a pretend reframe to try to think positive. It's about checking and seeing, okay, when I go back to the event or to the trigger or think about the subject in a very real way, is my internal response different than it was? That's the way I like to approach checking this. And of course, with EFT or clinical EFT, for example, where they're very put an emphasis on checking the number of your score, like, okay, this intensity is a 10 out of 10. Now, after doing this, it's a 6 out of 10. Then you want to check it later. Check it later in the day. Check it tomorrow, next week. Is it still lowering? Maybe it's gone back up a little bit, but am I still perceiving it in a slightly different way? Am I thinking about it in a little bit of a less harsh tone at the very least? Just some actual shift in the way you are relating to it versus just a temporary high. And so again, you can test yourself by imagining the event happening again, taking yourself back to that time, checking in with the intensity that was in your body. If your muscles were super clenched and tight at the beginning, which again is why step one is bringing things into awareness. You can, because you were consciously aware of these sensations, these emotions, these feelings, and you let yourself feel them, as in the previous steps, it will be much easier to tell if their intensity has actually shifted, if your intensity, your feelings around the subject have actually shifted. So that's the goal, and ideally, as you work with techniques and processes that incorporate the previous steps I mentioned in this series, or you bring those steps into whatever technique you are using, which is, I think, really the ideal way to think about it. What are the fundamental guidelines, and can I use those to adapt into any technique I'm using to make it more useful for me? And of course, these guidelines are just things that I've essentially observed and created, so you might want to experiment and see what you find useful for yourself there. So I hope this has been helpful. Please let me know any questions, comments you might have, any specific examples where you've seen this or where you'd want to see that run through. Look forward to talking to you next time. Thanks so much.